Let's face it, once you're past the honeymoon phase of marriage, you usually start noticing some things about your partner that, well, drive you a little nuts. Well, unfortunately, over time, that list tends to get longer, and the feeling kind of goes from driven a little nuts to that really pisses me off to I can't take this anymore. And I see this time and time again. By the time most couples come to me for help, they've got a laundry list of complaints and they can't seem to resolve it. They're just stuck. They're now fighting and they have a hard time ever getting together in a good way because the upsets kind of take over more and more of the space of their lives. And sometimes it just seems like there's one thing that's being complained about, but even then, usually it's something very general, like, well, they're just not there for me, which after doing a little bit of digging, it feels like a tsunami of they never do this and they never do that and they always do this and they always do the other thing. And it's like bam, 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 because that's kind of what happens when you don't deal with a problem. Over time, it just kind of stacks up and up and up and becomes kind of all consuming and overwhelming. Well, if you want to get your partner to change in some ways that are important to you, here's a solution. And it's really as simple as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, limit yourself to 3. Count them 3 specific requests. You even can just have 1 if it really is something specific, but you can't have more than 3. And the reason for that is that you don't want it to be overwhelming. You want it to be measurable. You want it to be simple. You want to make it easy for them to succeed. And over time, if they succeed in that, it'll become second nature. And then you guys can work on another set of 1 or 2 or 3 things. Step number 2 is you have to explain why it's important to you. This helps them understand the motivation. And finally, number 3, explain why it will be good for them. Of course, when you do this, right, you can't do this in the middle of a fight or when the two of you are rushing in the morning to get to work or taking care of the kids or something. You've got to do this at a time when you're both present to each other. And even better if you're using an influential, let's say, tone of voice. Remember that you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, right? Barking at your partner that, I really would like it if you picked up your clothes from the floor all the time, if you didn't leave your clothes on the floor, is not as nice as, baby, I really like it when the floor around our bed is clean. And when I see that it's clean, the clothes aren't there, it makes me feel a little bit more amorous. You get the difference? Now, that might or might not be your situation, but I hope you see a key distinction between those 2 examples. Here's another well-formed one. Baby, there are just a few things that I really would like to do. They're really important to me. And if you do them, then I'll stop getting angry about them and I can really get back to loving you. And here they are. Number 1, if you're going to be home later than you say, just please text or call me and let me know. And if you happen to know what time you will be home, you expect to be home, let me know that too, just so that I know you're safe and I don't worry. And you know what? If you're making yourself a cup of coffee, or maybe I should say when you're making yourself a cup of coffee, I would love it if you also make one for me. That really helps me feel loved and taken care of. And number 3, when we're watching TV together, I love it if you sit close and put your arm around me. That really makes me feel close to you. It even turns me on. Do you see that? Do you see how I had 3 specific measurable things in those requests? How I explained why they were important, for example, to me by my saying them, and also why it would be great for my partner to actually fulfill them? Remember that most people need to see a value for themselves before doing something they don't want to do, which is why it's so important that you let them know what's in it for them. I hope you found this useful. Take it, use it in your relationship today. And for an absolutely free 3-part, 3-video course in improving your marriage, just go to my website, www.guyardito.com. That's www.guyardito.com. Enter your name and email, and we'll be right off to you, lickety split, probably within just 10 or 15 minutes. Well, that's it for today. Until next time, remember, live in love.